All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order. I think it's 6:02. And this is the Community Preservation Committee meeting on March 30th. It is the meeting that we're having several public hearings. Let me read the statement. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 in the Acts of 2021, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirements that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long that measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate and alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom meeting ID number 840-0877-2826 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, the Assistant Town Manager, at atm@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 100, prior to the meeting. So again, thank you very much, everybody. It's nice to see familiar faces, and I think we've got a packed house tonight. So I really do appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and ask for an approval of the agenda. I do have one correction, and I didn't catch it. I'm glad individuals are reading it and catching it for me. The public hearing number 1, the request by Air Parks Department. I have Parks and Rec. So forgive me, Jeff, I went ahead and I just went to the website and it says Parks and Rec Department. So I ended up using that, but it's really just the Air Parks Department. So I'd like to make that correction on the agenda. Does anybody have anything else?
Nope.
Then can I hear a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
A second.
Julie moved, Barry seconded. All right, we're going to do a roll call. Jess?
Aye.
Julie?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Colleen? Is that a thumbs up? Colleen?
Sorry, you didn't hear me. Aye.
Okay. And Beth?
Yes.
All right, chair says aye, so it is now passed unanimously. Okay, with it being after 6 o'clock, I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing number 1. I don't believe I need to repeat the pandemic blurb, so I'm just going to move on. I'm going to open up the public hearing number 1, which is the request by Air Parks Department for CPA funds to support remediation and restructuring of Kitty Junction Playground at Peroni Park. I'll read the legal notice. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought we were ready for us.
No, I gotta read the notice. Yeah, I know. All right. This was a legal notice that was put in the Neshoba Valley Voice regarding the Peroni Park Playground Project, AKA Kitty Junction. Notice is hereby given in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44B, the Community Preservation, that the Air Community Preservation Committee will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, March 30th at 6 p.m. The purpose of this meeting will be to review the funding application from the Air Parks and Recreations Department to CPA funds to help support the Peroni Park Playground, also known as Kitty Junction Remediation and Restoration Project. All residents, members of the general public, and any persons interested or wishing to be heard on the application request may call 978-772-8200, extension 100, during the business hours prior to the meeting for Zoom meeting information. Community Preservation Committee, Janet Providakis, Chair. All right. Presenting for the Air Parks Department, I see Jeff Thomas and Jason Mayo. Welcome. Too bad I can't have you come up to a chair and have apples on the table or whatever, but the thought is there.
2 days, 2 more days if we could have done it, right?
Yeah,
Um,
we'll
thank-
talk about that after. Okay.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Janet. I appreciate it. So for those who don't know me, I'm Jason Mayo. I'm the chairperson of the Air Park Commission. Air Park Department Director Jeff Thomas and I are going to go through a quick presentation and kind of give everybody an overview of the project and kind of where it stands and what we're looking for funding. And then we'll open up for questions after we get through this presentation. It's a really fast presentation. So first off, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff and let him talk about the history of the playground and up through present state, and then I'll go through the project and we'll take it from there. So Jeff, please.
Thanks, Jason. And I'll keep this brief, even though it's an extended history, an interesting one. But I'm just going to go through the basics of what we're dealing with and kind of why we're dealing with why everything happened. So as most people know, the playground's been around for a bit. It was built in 1989 with the assistance of the community and town government, and Fort Devens actually pitched in quite a bit as well, the Corps of Engineers. They worked really hard to try to come up with a good design, and part of that was to also spend extra money to buy pressure treated wood that was non-arsenic or arsenic free, which is common today, but at the time was difficult to find. So they actually went to South Carolina for a company to ship up the lumber to build this. It was supposed to be arsenic free. So fast forward to about 2006, the EPA did a study on Grove Pond. And at that time, they went around and did soil samples around the shore and found some traces of arsenic along the shore of where Kitty Junction is. And then with further tests, they found that it was actually emanating from the playground itself. And further tests that went beyond that we actually paid for, once we found out about it, we wanted to know more, that concluded it wasn't just the soil within the playground, but also the wood itself had arsenic in it, which of course was a big surprise. So after the tests were done, we tried to get some advice from the EPA, and they explained to us that the levels were elevated, but not dangerous by current Massachusetts standards. But it was something to be concerned about. Obviously, any type of sanding that was done before probably caused this, and we couldn't do any maintenance such as sanding or anything like that in the future. So we were limited what we could do with maintenance until we could figure out something to do. They also recommended that we eventually remediate the site, remove the structure, and then that would also require removing quite a bit of soil. They recommended anywhere between 1 foot and 3 feet. And at the time, this is 2006, the total cost of just the renovation was anywhere between $150,000 and $300,000 just to remove the structure in the soil. Obviously, those prices would be accelerated quite a bit by today's standards. So with all that being a concern, trying to come up with the money for that, but also being told that it wasn't an immediate concern, the Parks Commission chose to try to find funds through government sources, such as grants and other fundraising opportunities. And the Office of Economic Development worked with us for a number of years trying to find these. And over the years, we came close on a couple, but never really were able to come close enough to come up with the, $300,000 to $500,000, and now much more needed to do this project. Fast forward again to about 2021 or 2020, the Parks Commission at that point made the determination that because the playground had actually reached not just a concern with the arsenic, but also with the age of the structure and some of the maintenance that couldn't be done on it, and also some functions that existed now that didn't exist back then, such as ADA standards, that the playground would have to be replaced, and we would have to find a way to do that. And we couldn't wait for other sources to emerge for this, for fundraising. So it was decided to do a study on it, and that study was started by a company called Beta, and they came in and did another sample of the soil. And when they reported that to the Mass DEP then said that, well, regardless of whether it's elevated or what the thing is, we want that structure closed to the public until it's remediated. So that's why the current fencing is around the playground. And we are currently working on trying to come up with a replacement for the structure, which of course includes the remediation of the soil and the removal of the current structure. And then eventually the development and installation of a new playground. So with Beta's assistance, we're continuing to do that effort. The Parks Commission put together a playground committee that is working each week they meet and also meet intermittently to do different tasks, scheduling different public forums and other things to try to help the community get involved with coming up with ideas for a new playground. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jason, who will talk about where this project is at right now.
Right. So Beta, part of their scope of work as a consultant is to not only come up with a remediation plan, but they're also coming up with concepts and a design for the rebuild. So we're going to have a build out for the remediation. We'll show the cost in a minute, but for the remediation, removal and remediation of the existing equipment, and then we'll also come out of this with a biddable scope of work for any construction in the future. And this is one of kind of an idea of what we're looking for. And through their conversations with vendors that would be constructing this, if we were to try to replicate everything as is, we're going to run into some problems. Number one, a lot of what we have there is not ADA compliant or even meets any new safety regulations. So things like the tires and the chains, they'll have to go. Some of the little cubby holes that people love, they don't meet regulations anymore. So that's a stumbling block. Another one is the cost. If we were to build out something that size, they're looking at $1 to $1.5 million, maybe, is what kind of the numbers that they're talking about. So what we're actually looking to do is do this in a phased approach. The funding that we're seeking now through CPC and through the capital process is going to be to remediate and remove and remediate the existing structure and the soil and the contamination. That's going to be done. That's a big chunk of the money. But then we'll build back a certain size and a certain equipment that we still have to determine. We're going to have an open meeting next week with our designer to get some ideas from the public, and we'll still hone those and everything. But this kind of gives you a sense what we can do in the existing space. We'll have some different elements, and we're even going to try to expand the existing space down to take advantage of some of the features of the terrain there. So it's not going to be what is there now, and it's unfortunate, but that's just what it is. We have to deal with. So phase one is what we're looking to fund here, and hopefully we're going to be able to build in some really good elements, and then a future phase two or let's say complete development. You can see we'll really build this stuff out. We'll be able to add a lot of space on the back side. I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, but there's different elements of play. So it's not going to be what it is, but I think it's going to be really great, if not better, what we're going to be able to take advantage of. And we'll fund those. We'll find different funding for those. We're working with the Economic Development Department for grants. We'll be looking for fundraising, private donations, and things like that. So that's yet to come. And I'm not going to include any of that in our timeline because we're going to get through this first phase before we start planning that. We'll start to plan that out in the springtime, but for this meeting, we don't really have that information yet. So this is what we're looking for funding. If you look down the contractual funding, that's basically our sort of the expertise. The consultant is what that 60 grand is. We're seeking capital funds for that. We're seeking from CPA the $400,000 for construction. And what we sort of got from Beta was a number of about $160,000 for the removal and remediation. That has some contingencies built in there, so it may come in less. So we're hoping that comes in less, and if it does, that'll give us some more for construction. But these are sort of the figures that we're working with from Beta. So, you know, we're going to look for $400,000. That would be CPA funds for construction of a new project. Capital, we're going to have on the warrant in on town meeting. These cost $320,000 to cover these other costs here. So the timeline we talked about, we started working with Beta back in October. That RFP went out last year, so we worked with them in October. We formed our steering committee in November and started meeting then. It really started to ramp up after the holidays, and we really started to get some traction. So we had this public survey that went out, and we had hundreds of respondents to that, a lot of great data from that, which is now closed. We had a public information event down at Peroni on March 5th. That was pretty well attended. Both adults and children came down. We were able to break out into groups and get some good ideas, because we met with our designer from Beta since then, and we're able to relay a lot of those elements and ideas that we collected there. So obviously this meeting isn't on the timeline. I probably should have put it in there, but we're sitting here on March 30th. Next week, April 7th, we have that public design forum at Town Hall. April 26th is the town meeting, right? So that's hopefully we'll get our warrants passed. We're going to have two. Sorry?
Oh, I think it's April 25th. I thought you said 6th.
Oh, I got that from the town website. So
Yeah.
if that's wrong, then. April 25th. Thanks, Jess.
Okay.
But that's town meeting with hopefully everybody will vote for our warrants. And then if that's the case, in May, we'll be sending this out to bid. Have a hopefully vendor selected in June. And that way, July 1, we'll have funding and we'll be able to, be shovel ready and start working on the remediation. Phase 1 construction, hopefully September, get that done. Phase 1, November, and then grand opening in the springtime. It's an aggressive timeline, but I think we can do it. Gotta hustle. We've got a lot of support, and we've had a lot of support from the public. We've, talked to a lot of people in the public have supported this. The CPC has supported this. We've also got endorsements from the select board, the capital planning committee, the economic development office, Page Hilltop, the library. And this is an element of our open space and recreation plan and master plan that we recommend remediating and replacing this. So that would, check off two big boxes in our town planning here. So that's all I have to share. So we'll open it up to any questions.
I just got to go ahead and ask Jason and Jeff, at the town meeting, should this move forward and we approve it at the public hearing here, will this be the presentation as well that you're going to be using at town meeting?
Unless they want something more in depth.
All right. No, I think this
But
worked
we'll-
out good. Yeah, no, I think it's quite inclusive. The reason why I'm saying is I'll make sure that it gets put on the website so that individuals can go ahead and look at it. So I don't.
We may have more information for the town by then, because we are going to have that open meeting and our group will meet again before town meeting. So we may be able to have a little bit more detail in there, but so it may change. But the gist of the presentation is going to be this.
That sounds great. Anybody on the committee have any other additional questions? Because I know that we've been asking Jason for past couple of months. Barry?
Jason, I just wondered, do you have any anything that's visual to give us an idea of what the phase one structures, the play structures are gonna look like?
We have some ideas from our contractor. I didn't want to show them tonight just because we don't really know what we're going to go with. I think after April 7th, we'll have a lot better idea of what sort of design features and the aesthetics of the equipment might look like. And as soon as we have those, I'll definitely share them.
Thank you.
And if I could follow up on that, Jason, a big part of that we're trying to make for the entire project is trying to get some community involvement as part of it. So we're expecting to get quite a bit of feedback on our upcoming forum next Thursday. So we're going to present at that forum a number of different ideas and options just to get some feedback from the public on those. So until we get that, it might be a little imprudent to show what those might be. But there's been a number of different ones that should be available on the website after that meeting.
Thank you.
And that's an in-person meeting?
Jason
Yep.
shaking his head.
What time
Yeah,
is
it's at
that
the high
meeting?
school, right?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, is that an in-person meeting and where?
The public forum is in person. It's going to be at the high school. It's going to be on Thursday from, I believe, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the high school cafeteria.
Thank you.
Our representative from Beta will be there as well, and he will have the initial presentation.
All right, any other questions from the committee? Barry?
Sorry. I was just wondering, is the money that you have or hope to have available to you, is that enough to complete phase one? I mean, if X happens, is there any contingency plans I don't know what could go wrong, but I mean, we certainly want to hit that date, that opening date for phase one and get that done. Do we have enough money that we're looking at that will take care of that?
It's a good question, Barry. And the answer, we're going to design phase one to meet the funding that we have. So we'll choose the different elements that we can put in a phase one construction. So there shouldn't really be, it won't really be, we won't have enough. We're going to stretch that as far as we can and do everything we can for that funding that we have.
Yeah, I just don't want to see this fail. I think it's an important piece of the town. I mean, more important than the field project. I know a lot of people will be able to enjoy the field project, but I think more people and more of our youth and young kids will be able to enjoy the kiddie play area more than the field project. And I just want to make sure that do everything that we can to make it happen.
If I can speak on this, Jason. Yes, Barry, and that's again, very good point on that. And the concept that we're trying to develop at this point is that we want something really nice and that people are going to be proud of and that our town can be proud of. And we realize to do that, it's going to be a pretty good investment. So by doing it in phases, we're going to, as Jason said, we're going to do as much as we can with whatever money we can. Obviously, the remediation part is first, so we have to get that out of the way, and then we can get what we can, and then move to phase two or phase three if there's that, to try to get the complete package of what we're trying to do. And there's a very good chance that there very well may be a better opportunity for grants from federal or other sources in the very near future. But we don't want to wait for that. We don't want to count on that. We need to start now. That's the big thing for what we're trying to do.
Thanks, Jeff.
And one good thing about, again, with receiving, hopefully the CPA funds, that's going to give the community support for a lot of these grants. They need that for a leverage. So I think that, and then the other thing too, is there's always the next town meeting, should we need additional funds.
Yeah.
Again, the reason why we went ahead and asked for a 3% is so that we can fund these types of projects. So don't, You always have that in your back pocket. So. Anything else from any other committee members?
I think Edith Stevens.
Well,
Are you-
yeah, hold on, let's do committee members first.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought-
Jana,
Yeah.
it's Julie. Is that okay? I just want to say thank you to Jason and Jeff. So far, all of the community involvement has been, I thought, phenomenal. I have spent countless hours at Kitty Junction over the years in my 12 years here in Ayer. And it really was spectacular. I was at the event where what were you calling it, Jason, where we were all together to assess the playground just recently. But it was, I didn't quite realize, I thought I was going there because it was local, but as we talked about how different it is compared to other playgrounds in the area, we're not just being kind, it really is something special. And I'm just glad to see you guys giving so much time and attention in immediacy, because the poor kids that are missing it in the year and two ahead. So I just thank you for all your work. I'm looking forward to supporting it.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Julie.
thanks, Julie. I'd like to recognize Beth and Dan, who are also on our steering committee and were at that meeting as well. So thank you to them too.
You got it. All right. I know Beth.
Thank you. I was just going to say briefly, as a member of the volunteer committee, it's been really a pleasure to work with everyone on this project. And it is really exciting to be able to advance it. You know, it is very sad that we're not going to be able to enjoy it in the immediate future, but I really appreciate everyone's attention to the project and the input that we have received. The response to the online survey was really phenomenal and has provided us a lot of good information to utilize. And, you know, we are fast tracking the project in that first phase so that, you know, as Jeff and Jason have described, so that, you know, we can utilize it as soon as possible. But I do really think there's tremendous potential for us to leverage these funds and be competitive for grant opportunities that are going to come up in the next year as well. And, you know, we're, I think, just thinking creatively about little things that might be able to happen at the park in the interim as well. So we're, you know, it's been a real tremendous community effort, and we just appreciate everyone's attention and input into the process and look forward to town meeting to move it forward. Thank you.
All right. Okay, anything else from the committee members? If not, I'm going to open it up to the public who is available here. Anybody else from the public who's got questions, comments, accolades? All right, it looks like this is working really well. With that, then I'm going to go ahead and look for a motion to go ahead and take this project and move it forward to town meeting on April 25th over at the high school. Can I hear a motion?
I'd like to make that motion to move this ahead to town meeting.
All right, that's Barry.
I'll second the motion.
Colleen seconds. All right, let me do a roll call. Jess,
Aye.
Barry,
Aye.
Jason,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Beth,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
and the chair says aye unanimously, moving forward to town meeting. All
Thank you,
right.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Hi, Jeff and Jason and everybody else, thank you so much for all your hard work. We're going to keep moving forward on that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to close that public hearing. Or someone make a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
All right, that's Jess moved,
Second.
Colleen seconds. And I think we just have to do all in favor. I got to go through.
Aye.
Barry, Jason,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Yes. Yes.
Colleen,
Aye.
Jess,
Aye.
and the chair says aye. Public hearing's closed at, Jess, you got it, 6:31?
It's what?
It's 6:31?
Yep.
Okay, at 6:31, I'm going to open up the next meeting. All right, this here on the agenda is for the Flanagan Pond Public Access Feasibility Study. Correct. With that, I'm going to go ahead and read the notice. Notice is hereby given in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44B, and that the Air Community Preservation Committee will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, March 30th at 6 p.m. Purpose of this meeting will to review the funding application from the Ayer Department of Public Works for CPA funds to help support the cost of a feasibility study to research Flanagan Pond's public access. All residents, members of the general public, and any persons interested or wishing to be heard on the application request may call 978-772-8220, extension 1 or extension 100 during the business hour prior to the meetings for Zoom meeting information. Community Preservation Committee, Janet Providakis, Chair, and the public hearing is now open. With that, Dan and Jess, I know you do you have a slide presentation, Dan, or?
No, I don't, but I'll share my screen just to show an image from the proposal we received. So why don't I do that now, just before we get talking?
All right.
Screen 2.
Again, all these applications have been placed out on the website. So this image that you do see is on the website with regard to this meeting and the prior meeting. All right, Dan, thank you.
Hi, yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, so I'm here tonight to present the application for the Flanagan Pond feasibility study for public access to Flanagan Pond. And you'll notice that everybody knows where Flanagan Pond is, I assume, along Groton Harvard Road, Central Avenue, west of Sandy Pond. And currently there's no formal public access. It's kind of hard. When I do our water quality monitoring, which I won't be doing anymore because I'm director, but we'd access from down across from our pump station on Oak Ridge Drive, and it's really a pain in the neck to get our canoe down there. We used to use a canoe, now we use a boat, small boat. So anyway, this has also been identified in the community preservation plan. It identified there's limited areas for public access. The Town of Ayer Master Plan in 2017 noted a goal of prioritizing the expansion of public access around ponds for recreational use. And also the Open Space and Recreation Plan, this is noted in the project description I'm reading from, is a public boat launch on Flanagan Pond and to conduct a feasibility study on creating a public boat ramp for Flanagan and Sandy Ponds. So the idea is access to enjoy the pond from a recreational point, canoes, kayaks, having a dock or a boat access to be able to do that. So I kind of informally, I worked with Jess on this, but I reached out to our consultant, Ty and Bond, who's done this type of work before, and discussed it with them to kind of get their take of putting together a proposal for the feasibility study. And on the screen here, you can see we talked about 7 locations, which we identified just between me and Ty and Bond, based on knowledge and looking at maps as to where we might be able to find a potential public access. And so the idea is they would investigate these 7 sites. You'll notice that G isn't identified, dilapidable property. It's actually 183 Central Ave. It's just west of E, which is the Central Avenue pump station, the sewer pump station. So there's some property over there that may be a potential site for the access. So based on that discussion, Time Bond went ahead and put together the formal proposal. And basically the ultimate goal will to have one conceptually designed site, 25% design in the end, and to be able to further that in the future using grant funds to further go toward construction, permitting and construction. So that this feasibility study really doesn't have any, it does have a little bit of design, conceptual design, but no permitting and no construction. But initially, like I said, we'd start with the 7 sites. They would do a desktop analysis and look at what sites meet our criteria the best for access, knock that down to 3 sites. And from that point, they start looking at them in more detail, visual observations, coming up with a initial cost for each site. And then at that point, we would have or throughout the process, there'd be meetings with the town to discuss their progress and how the town, and get input from the town for moving forward. And ultimately, from those 3 sites, 1 site would be selected for the conceptual design, which would go to 25%. There'd be plans, sections, a report, and an opinion of probable construction cost at that time. So that's what we would get out of this project. The 25,000 is a conservative number. It's actually identified that in the proposal. They mentioned that, and through discussions with Time Bond, they also said it is. So it should be plenty of budget to get it done. And one other thing I would mention is Conservation Commission obviously would be heavily involved, because there would have to be permitting done through them, and they are in support of the project.
Strongly.
Yeah, so I think that's it in a nutshell of the project that I've put forth in the application. And I do thank Jess, she gave me a little bit of help informally putting this together, the application. So do you have anything else to add, Jess, you'd like to, or?
Just that, every year the town through conservation funds treatment of Sandy Pond, Flanagan Pond, and Pine Ridge or Pine Meadow Pond for invasive weeds to keep the amounts down. And Flanagan, it'd be great if we were spending that money to treat the pond, if there was also a better public access to it. And this would be a way of accomplishing that.
No, I know it, we have heard that at town meeting, when all that weed treatment questions come up and such. All right. I know I've got a couple questions with feedback from some individuals in town saying that there is some sort of access at the end of Groveland. I don't know if, Dan, you have checked that out at all, but I don't believe it's truly public, because it seems like when I've been down there, it's between 2 people's, houses. So that's what I thought that G was.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's, again, that would have been off of Central Ave. I think that is maybe where F is. I'm not certain.
Yeah, so that's that generally. So this is the Joyce Lane one, that 0 here, which
Okay.
they had identified. But I could also have them, while they're looking at that, take a quick look at Groveland
Okay.
and see see what that entails, if we do in fact have access there.
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah,
And then,
the 7 sites, it is flexible. It's just from initial discussions. So, basically built into their proposal would be 7 sites that they have to look at.
okay.
Oops,
All right.
the right here. There we go.
And Dan, they're looking to have come up with a conceptual design for a site that would have some parking probably, and also be ADA compliant.
Right, yeah, so if you get into more of the details, right, ADA compliance is of course something we would want. Parking, so so people coming from all areas of town would be able to park there, take their canoe off their vehicle, and use the site. So those are some of the criteria that are sought for. Yep.
All right, that's good. Another question was asked, with it doing a feasibility study and using CPA funds for it. I verified that CPA funds definitely can be used for a feasibility study, especially too, and Dan, this will be for future, when CPA funds may be requested for that boat launch or for, some of the construction, that can be, CPA funds can be used to help with the construction costs. And it's sort of like goes side by side, that you need to do a feasibility study before you can go ahead and look at any type of construction. So with that, in the future, when we're ready to go ahead and move on this, not only, I know you said you're looking at grant funds, but CPA funds can be also used, so that gives you that leverage as well.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
all right. That's all that I have. Any other questions from the committee?
Just double share.
Barry?
I was just looking, I mean, the properties, they don't really look like they have an awful lot of area that you could probably use for parking. Are there some areas that just wouldn't be amenable to parking and some that would? Or, I mean, it's hard to tell from the map whether there's enough space there or not.
Right. Yeah, and that'll be kind of the thing when they look at each site, see if is there potential to expand, a little bit south of the site? Is there something satellite not too far away that they could use for parking? Excuse me. Like, for example, site D, Calvin Street, there's probably not going to be a good spot for parking over there. So I'd imagine when we initially look at that site, it may have an access potential, but I believe there's actually an easement there. But I think it's a steep drop off, and then also the parking could be a restriction. So those are good points. How many spots are we gonna be able to get? Being closer to Sandy Pond Beach might be good, but you don't want to jam up parking there. But so those are things that are going to get vetted through this
It
process.
seems like it's a challenge for.
Yeah,
as far
that's going to
as
be.
parking.
I think you're right. That's probably the biggest challenge.
Thank you.
Do you have a goal for how many parking spots you would need or you would anticipate needing?
I don't think we've discussed that far. How many we want. Obviously we'd need an ADA spot. So, and then you'd probably want at least 3 more, I would think, minimum. But we'll have to see what each site can get us, and they'll create a matrix when they're going through the sites of pros and cons and potential parking numbers at that time.
Anything else from the committee?
Mrs. Beth, I'll just offer that I'm happy to see the project advanced and think that, studying it first and just determining what the opportunities are is a really good first step, because we have heard through so many planning initiatives in the past that access to the ponds is really important for the community, and we have so many water resources, but such limited access to them. So it's great for us to evaluate, new opportunities and get creative about, looking at solutions to get more people onto the water. So thank you.
Similarly, I'm just really proud that our town puts our money where our mouth is, and that many people have said it at town meeting that this is something they wanted, and we're hearing it and seeing it through. So thank you.
All right. Nothing else from the committee members? Then I'm going to open it up to the public. Does anybody here who may have a question from that? All right, I'm going to recognize Jeff Tillotson.
Thank you very much, Janet. I don't think it got to you yet, but the planning board authorized a letter of support on last Tuesday evening's meeting on behalf of this project. I actually went into the office and signed it, I think Wednesday after the meeting, but it may not have made it all the way over to you, the interoffice, but we think it's a great idea. And again,
Janet, because I sent it.
I did get the electronic version. And if there's one in the mailbox, I'll be picking it up tomorrow.
Okay.
if I'm happy to just go sign another copy if you want.
I'm just going to
Thank
get
you.
an autograph.
Thank you.
All right, nice to hear. Thank you. All right, anything else from the public? All right, hearing crickets, then I'm going to go ahead and have somebody make a motion to move this to town meeting on April 25th.
I'll make a motion to move it to town meeting on the 25th.
All right, Colleen made the motion.
Second,
Okay, I'm going to say Beth seconded, beat you by second, Jason. All right, let me go ahead and do a roll call. Jess,
Aye.
Barry,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Julie,
Yes.
and Jason.
Yes.
And the chair says aye. So,
And Beth, yes.
oh, I'm Beth. I'm sorry, Beth. That's what ends up happening. It moves around. And it's like, oh, sorry, Beth. Don't.
No worries.
All right, thank you. All right, and chair says aye. So which means it's still unanimous. So I do appreciate that. And it will be moved forward to town meeting on the 25th of April. And can I hear a motion to close this meeting?
So moved.
I'll
Jess-
second.
All right, Jess made the motion and Barry seconded. And Jess, we
Aye.
vote for roll call. Barry,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Beth,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Jason. Okay, and the chair says aye, so that meeting has been closed. All right, moving on, take a deep breath. We're now going to our third public hearing. Can I hear a motion to open this meeting?
So moved.
Colleen makes a motion to open the,
Seconded.
Julie seconds. Roll call, Barry,
Aye.
Jess,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Beth,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Jason.
Yes.
And the chair says aye, so the public hearing now will be opened. And I will read the legal notice. This is regarding the Ayer Library digitization of Neshoba Public Spirit and the Valley Voice newspapers. Nobody is hereby given in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44B, that the Ayer Community Preservation Committee will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, March 30th at 6 p.m. The purpose of this meeting will be to review the funding application from the Ayer Library to help support the cost of the digitization of the original hard copies of Neshoba Public Spirit and Valley Voice newspapers. All residents, members of the general public, and any persons interested or wishing to be heard on the application request may call 978-772-8220, extension 100 during business hours prior to the meeting for Zoom meeting information. All right, moving forward, we do have Samantha Benoit from the library. And from what I understand, she has a presentation that, again, I will put on the website. Didn't have a chance to do that today. No, that's what happens when it comes in that way. So Samantha, welcome. And can I hear, can people hear
Hi,
her?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, good. All right, let me get this going. I haven't used this in so long. There we go. All right. So this is a very short presentation. The Ayer Library is looking to digitize our microfilm reels of the Public Spirit, Turner's Public Spirit, Neshoba Valley Voice. Yeah, I had a couple other iterations in there too. Our earliest issue is from May 1869. And we actually just got the 2021 microfilms in about 3 days ago. So yeah. The reason we're looking to do this is the condition of our microfilms are not the greatest. So our current condition is we own about 130 reels. Our most commonly used reels are from the earlier years, so from about 1869 to about 1950. Anything after 1950 doesn't get used as much. Those are actually in pretty good shape. We are, however, the only archive. We had an agreement with the newspaper. They gave us free copies in order to keep as an archive. And in fact, the newspaper doesn't own any of their own back issues. If they need something, they come to us. Isn't that fun? So yeah, We do keep them in a locked cabinet. They are safe. We put them in a metal cabinet. I believe they were stored in a wood one for a while. That will cause moisture to come in. It does cause deterioration. Really, the biggest issue is the accessibility of the reels. We keep them locked. They're in our historical room. You do need a staff member to go in there. We're very free and open with that. However, you can only view it during when the library is open and when someone can help you set it up. We're also, we do struggle with how they were microfilmed. The initial batch was done in 1976. So they're older film reels. And they kind of just took the hard copies and did the best they could. So this has resulted in a lot of our reels are super out of order and kind of weird. And you want 1917, well, it's technically on 3 different reels and stuck in the middle of the 1920s. Makes searching for things very difficult. Also, because it is microfilm, they really just took pictures of each page. So the only way to research is you have to read page by page by page. So if you don't have an exact date, you may be looking through a decade worth of newspapers to find something. This can be fascinating. It's fun. You can always find some really cool things, but it is very time consuming for both patrons and staff, because a lot of times we have people contact us. I had someone contact me from South Carolina looking for an obituary last week. They didn't quite know the date, and so I had to do it. They can't come in. So this is some examples of what we have. So one is a picture of, this is what it looks like on the screen. You can see it. It's fairly clear. You can magnify it. You can adjust the colors a little bit, but this is what you're getting. You're getting one sheet of paper and you scroll slowly to the next one. The other is our setup. Our microfilm is actually fairly new. It's going to last a while. I'm not worried about that, but you are stuck with slightly outdated technology in one computer. Only one person can use it at a time. It's as modern as it's going to get. Really what our biggest issue is reel damage. That is a picture of our newspaper from 1917. There's a chunk missing, and we are actually missing, I would say, maybe about 5 or 6 weeks worth of newspapers. This is the worst damaged one. When we scan this and get it digitized, I do have another copy that I have access to from the people who microfilmed it, and they'll give us that. So we'll get our missing chunk back. But a lot of them are damaged and cracked and scratched. And as you reel through them, it can cause more damage. And this is a nice example of our wonderfully out of order newspapers, in which this reel has part of 1917, no 18 or 19, parts of the 20s, but not all the 20s. And it makes research difficult. So our request is for $25,000 to digitize our collection. This will take care of about 128 reels. And as such, they'll create a searchable database. This is actually, Leominster used the company we're looking to use, Advantage Preservation. I have played on their site a few times. It's actually quite nice. So this database will be accessible through our website, but it is actually a separate website. We're not hosting it. We just have the link. You can access it that way. You can access it from home. And what the best part is you can either search by year, and you can search at it the way we do now, and you can look one page at a time if that's what you're feeling, or you can do a keyword search, which if you're looking for an event or a person, an obituary, a street, it will narrow it down. It's not perfect, but it will narrow it down. So this is, I just searched for Joe Smith in the Leominster one, and it brought me 63 results in which the name Joe Smith appears. And if you know he died in the 1930s, there are actually 6 pages in which his name appears. And you can look through those, and that's going to be way more effective and less time consuming than what currently happens. And then the scans will end up looking like this. I had to shrink it so it fit on the screen. It actually, you can blow it up to like 150%. And like, it's crystal clear. You can read what was said. They take some of the scratches and cracks out when they scan it. So it'll clear up some of the damage we have. You can download this, you can save it to your flash drive, you can print pages, you can crop parts out, you can, whatever you need to do for your research is sort of available through this program. It will also help you cite your sources well. So if you're doing a school project or major research projects, you'll be able to cite where you got it from. So the scope of this project really is to get the majority of these digitized. We figure it'll take about 5 years. It may take less. The company can scan about 50 reels a day, but because we have enough damage and I have to contact the Boston Public Library and New England Micrographics to get copies that are not damaged, it's going to take a little longer because they're not going to let me take them all at once. But if it goes along quicker, and I would say definitely by the time we hit the reels from the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, be able to do larger batches because I'm not going to need to get undamaged copies. They're in perfectly fine shape. We will lose our reels for about 90 days in order to build this website and get them scanned, but we will get them back. And at the end of those 90 days, you'll have full access from home.
All right. Is there a sort of like a plan of which ones are going to be done first? Are you going to go back to the 1800s first and work up?
Yeah, we're going to start at the beginning. Those are the ones in the worst shape. I want to get those scanned first. I also figure no one's super interested in reading 2020 at this point, so they can wait. But I want to get the damaged ones taken care of first. The first batch, we would like to send in 26 reels, so that will take us from 1869 to about 1942.
Excellent. All right. From what I can read and research in the project, I didn't realize it was called Turner's. And it's like, oh, gee whiz. Then all of a sudden I realized, yeah, when I saw it's like, okay, that's what it used to be called because that's who the publisher was, I believe.
Yes.
And I'm looking at it, and it's like, you're definitely, this is a good plan to put some sort of, put in order all this chaos. And just to be able to have it so that it is searchable, that is going to make a big help. The other question, I know that we had asked this before, it's accessible to the public for free?
For free, no charge.
Okay. All right.
And once we use the end of these funds, the library will take on the cost for any reels we acquire in the meantime. Because until we hit essentially present day, we're going to continue to microfilm because we still get the newspaper every week. We're still their archive. So once we hit the end of these funds, we're hoping we'll only have a handful of reels left. And it'll only cost us about $165 a reel.
Nice. All right. Those are my questions. Anybody else on the committee have any question? Jess?
So just to clarify that, does that mean once the digitization is complete, you won't be doing microfilms in the future? It'll just all be instantly digitized? Or
That is the plan. The company we have found can digitize the newspapers themselves, actually.
okay.
All right. I know that you've received even a letter of recommendation from the Lowell Sun that's inside the application packet.
Yes, the Lowell Sun is currently the owner of the Neshoba Valley Voice and all the back issues, and they're very excited for this project.
I can see, like, oh, Barry?
Yeah, not a question, but a vote of approval, and let's do it, because I, like probably many of you, have used the microfilm section there at the library, and it's just long overdue. It's really cumbersome to use. I mean, but if you need the information, you need the information. But this is money well spent, as far as, you know, from my opinion anyway. So yeah, this would be great.
Good to hear.
I
Jason?
agree, just a huge benefit for the investment and something that's really going to be a great service for everyone and make everyone's life so much easier. So thank you for advancing it.
Jason?
Yeah, I just had a couple questions. So what is available online now? Like, how far back is the Neshoba Voice available in archive form from Lowell Sun? Or you have to buy a subscription with them.
If you buy a subscription from the Lowell Sun for the Voice, you can see only the current year.
Great. Yeah, so this is definitely something that we want.
So, yeah.
Yeah. The other question, will this feed any like ancestry programs, like ancestry.com or anything like that? Will any of this information get fed into any of those for people that are doing research about their past?
There is the website called newspapers.com, and they have worked with this company in the past. So if we wanted to, we could come to an agreement with them, and they could include our scans on newspapers.com, which is owned by the same company as Ancestry. We haven't really discussed it yet, or looked into that. We're really watching the condition fall apart. So I'm worried. Let's get it online, and then we'll figure out where it goes.
But would they pay us, or would we pay them to put that information there?
I'm not sure.
It would be good to know if you can get some additional
Yeah.
funding for the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For most of those sites, unless it's truly unique, you have to pay to put on, but maybe not.
Mhm. All right, you all set, Jason? Okay, anybody else from the committee? All right, looking out to the public, anybody else from the public have any type of, all right, Pat, Lynch, you're gonna have to unmute yourself.
Hi. Hi. I really appreciate this endeavor that you're going to do. I've tried to use some of the equipment down at the library, and it is baffling sometimes. I just hope that there's some connection made between the library and the schools, so that the schools will know that this resource is there for them if they want to direct some projects that the kids do, whether it's high school or the elementary. I mean, there's some neat things that you can teach kids about the past and our past by using those resources. So that would be great.
I'd love to do programming with the schools for this kind of stuff.
Great. Thank you, Pat. I've got Pauline's hands up. All right, Pauline?
Yep, I'm here, Janet, but Pat, you need to mute yourself so your dog stops barking. It's okay. Nice to see you tonight, Pat. All I want to say is, as a member of Pat's generation, I am absolutely thrilled to see this happening. I just wish it was available when I was in high school in 1970. But thank you all. Thank the library. I totally support the whole process.
I'm trying to find out who else's dog is barking.
Not mine.
And not mine. Okay, because Pat's on mute. All right, I think we've got a thumbs up. Anybody else from the public? All right, let me go ahead and ask the committee for a motion to move this forward to the town meeting on April 25th.
Make a motion that we move this to town meeting on the 25th.
All right, that was Barry making the motion.
Second,
And yeah, Jess seconds. All right, let's go ahead and go through roll call. Beth,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Colleen,
Aye.
Barry,
Yes.
Jess.
aye.
And the chair says aye, so it's unanimous to move this forward to the town meeting on April 25th. And with that, can I have a motion to close this public hearing number 3?
So moved.
All right, Beth makes a motion and Jess seconds it. And Barry,
Aye.
Colleen,
Aye.
Julie,
Yes.
Jason,
Aye.
Beth,
Yes.
Jess,
Aye.
and Janet says aye as well. So this public hearing is now closed. And Samantha, thank you very much. Again, I'll be taking that presentation, putting it online, and if we need to use that during the town meeting, we will go ahead and do that as well. All right?
Perfect.
Okay, Samantha, thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Sam.
All right. Next on the agenda is public hearing number 4, which is a request from the Affordable Housing Trust, Ayer Affordable Housing Trust. Can I have a motion to open up the next public hearing?
So moved.
Jess,
Second.
Barry seconds it. All in favor? Beth,
Yes.
Jason,
Aye.
Julie?
Yes.
People moved. All right, Colleen,
Aye.
Jess,
Aye.
Barry?
Yes.
And the chair says yes, so we are now opening up the 4th public hearing. Let me go ahead and read the announcement that was in the Public Valley Voice. The Neshoba Valley Voice, which will be digitized shortly. This is for the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust funding. Notice is hereby given in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44B, that the Ayer Community Preservation Committee will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, March 30th at 6:00 p.m. The purpose of this meeting will be to review the funding application from the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust for CPA funds to help support the continued efforts of the Housing Trust with rental assistance for Town of Ayer residents. All residents, members of the general public, and any persons interested or wishing to be heard on the application request may call 978-772-8220, extension 100, during business hours prior to the meeting for Zoom meeting information. Signed, Community Preservation Committee, Janet Providacus, the chair. All right, now that meeting is open. Colleen, will you go ahead and make the presentation of,
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Janet, I did not send you the slides, but I put a little summary slide presentation
okay?
together. So the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust is applying for CPC funds to support our the Ayer Rental Assistance Program that was established this year. This program was recently established by the newly formed Ayer Affordable Housing Trust, and so we are currently in the first year of this program. At the Springtown meeting, I think it was Springtown meeting, maybe I might have the date wrong, but the town funded 30,000 or agreed that we could use 30,000 of CPC funds towards the Affordable Housing Trust, and this money has gone towards establishing the rental assistance program. We launched our first round of applications this winter. I believe all of the households have been selected and the funding will begin for the participants by May 1st. And so overview of the program is that the participating households receive $500 each month in rental assistance, and those payments are made directly to the landlords. And when they apply, the funding is for a year unless circumstances change, that they would no longer need the funding. And then they have the opportunity to renew for up to 3 years. And so some of the guidelines or requirements for participants are that the households need to be cost burdened by rent, which means they're spending more than 30% of their income on rent, that the household income is less than 60% of the average mean income based on household size. The housing units have to be within the town of Ayer. They have to have a lease and meet minimum safety standards. And participants can't be receiving rental assistance from other types of, state-funded programs. If they got assistance from us and then were accepted in one of these other programs, then that would be another reason why their funding would stop. And so at $500 a month for 12 months, we are funding 5 households with the current Affordable Housing Trust budget. And so what the Affordable Housing Trust is requesting from CPC at this time is $60,000 in additional funds. So this will allow us to continue to support, the 5 households that we're supporting now, maybe the same groups if they reapply, but to expand it to be able to fund 10 households next year. And so that is the request that we're making in this application, because that will allow us to help more families in the town to stay in their homes, or families or households to stay in the town. And so we hope that the town will support this request. I think that's it.
Okay.
Short and sweet.
All right. And from what I understand, the trust was looking at more than 5 applicants. Some, didn't make the qualifications. Some didn't fill out the application correctly. Am I right? But we need to get.
Yes, I believe there were more than 5 applicants initially, but I think either, incomplete applications or perhaps didn't meet eligibility requirements. So it came down to, but they did find 5. We did find 5 households that I believe we're working on the final paperwork for. So some may even start as early as April 1st receiving the funding, but everyone should be up and running by May 1st.
Mm-hmm. And one of the other things too is the trust individuals, the 7 members, they don't see the names. It's only Alicia from the Department of Economic and Community Development see the names. But
Right.
she goes through all that paperwork.
Right. She gives us a summary so that we can approve the funding, but we don't know who these individuals are or any details about their circumstances.
Okay. All right. It looks like it has helped. Anybody else from the committee have any questions? All right. I think you did a good job. Oh, Jess.
Yeah, just so the 30,000, has that been being used, or does that start being used April?
Right. So it has not been used yet, but that's from that 30,000 is the 500 a month that now these 5 households will begin to receive, and those payments will go to the landlord. So this round of accepted households, that will use up the 30,000 that we have in the trust.
I always get messed up on fiscal year issues and calendar years. So
me too.
Yeah.
Anything else from any of the, Julie?
I just want to say thank you. I think we've acknowledged all the others and for what they do for the town, and this one's incredibly important. So thank you for bringing it to us and assisting people to really stay in our town, because it's what makes us us. Thank you.
Agreed. I just wanted to say thank you for all of you who've been involved in the formation of the trust. It's really exciting that we now have such an important resource in the community, and, appreciate, the advancement of the program, and, hope that it'll be continue to be supported at town meeting to further the investments and help the families in need. So thank you all.
All right, that's it for committee. All right, well, opening it up to the public. I see Pauline, you've got your hand raised.
Yes, thank you, Janet. Just a question. I wasn't sure I heard correctly because I was moving around. Applicants can apply for a total of 3 years? They apply for 1 year of funding. They can reapply, if their circumstances haven't changed. The max that they could be funded is 3 years. All right, thank you. That's what I thought I heard. Just wanted to be sure. And another question, Janet, if I may.
Yes.
Requires a lease. Is that a 12-month lease, 6-month lease, or tenant at will lease? Any are acceptable. So they just need to have some sort of written agreement, but they can be a tenant at will. Okay. And I presume then the Affordable Housing Committee / trust will follow to make sure that tenant is still there before providing a monthly payment? I think so, yes. I mean, Alicia Hersey is working with the landlords on, the landlords have to sign an agreement. Sure. And so I think through that process, I think they'll be tracking, that type of information. We'll see how this plays out. This is a new thing for all of us. Not that I have any issues with it. I think it's a great idea for CPC funds, and I just hope it all goes smoothly. Thank you for all you've done, Colleen.
All right. Any other questions from the public? There being none, can I hear a motion to move this forward to the annual town meeting on April 25th?
So moved.
Hi, Jess made the move.
Second.
Hi, Barry beat Beth. Aye. No matter what, we're gonna go ahead and do the roll call. Jason?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Colleen?
Aye.
Beth?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Jess?
Aye.
And the chair says aye. So it has been passed to go ahead and move this forward to the annual town meeting. And with that, can I hear a motion to close this public hearing, the fourth and final?
So moved.
I just made the move.
Second.
Colleen seconds. All right, let's go ahead and take roll call. Jason?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Beth?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Jess?
Yes.
And the chair says aye, so that closes this public hearing. Before we adjourn, one thing that I do want to do is, first of all, saying thank you to everybody, okay? This is very impressive. Again, it goes ahead and reiterates the importance of what we, have tried to do with a 3% increase so that we can go ahead and have the funds to afford some of these projects that are coming up. So I'm glad that they're all moving forward to the town meeting. I just want to also reiterate that if anybody else who's watching this program has any type of questions that they are, concerned about these applications, again, the applications are out on the website, as well as these presentations will be placed out there as well. Just give a call over to Carly and she'll be able to get those questions to me, being the chair of CPC, and I can make sure it goes to the respective departments or committees that made these application requests. So we're always was always interested in making sure we got feedback. Yes, Jess.
And just to ask Cindy how soon the recording of this meeting would be available as well.
Hey, I think your question was, when will the recording of the meeting be available? Within 24 hours on the APAC website. And I can pop it up on the CPC page as well.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome. I'll see if I can nudge them to get it out a little quicker.
Right. We've got James O'Connor, the town moderator. Go ahead.
Good evening. I just wanted to let you all know that I will be presenting an information session for the senior citizens on Friday, April 15th. So if I could have a small version of the presentations, I would like to be able to use that to answer questions of our seniors that are going to ask about the individual issues. And when I did hear a couple of people say, well, I think we'll be doing presentations, I would encourage that at the town meeting so that people know what the funding is for. But since we all want to be out of there before late at night, an encapsulated version, Janet, would be great to just talk about the four of them together. I don't know how much debate or discussion there will be, but I thank you all for your time and deliberations on these important articles and funding.
You got it. This is what we're here for. And that's why it's good that the town has the final say. That's the whole idea behind the CPA. So, all right, before we leave, I did send the warrant articles out to everybody because I do have to get them to town hall by Friday. And I didn't know whether or not, I did get feedback from some individuals and I edited them where the warrant articles, again, I'm going to go through them just to let you know. I've got the first one for the disbursement amounts, where we do have the 10,000 for the expenses, as well as the monies broken down, which is 10% of our monies that we did receive. And so we've got $110,370 going into all three categories for open space, historic, and community housing, each one. And then the remainder sum of $742,588 goes into the general fund. Again, to reiterate, we're doing just the 10% and putting more into the general fund, because the general fund, we can use those monies for any one of the projects that are available. Once it gets put into a category, it has to be used for that category. So this way here, it gives us a little more flexibility when other projects do come up. That is the first article. The second article that we will be presenting is the due diligence, so that we can have the monies available for any type of appropriation of open space. And we are requesting $20,000 for that instead of $12,000. So we have moved forward with that. And this way here, just in case, again, that we need an appraisal of property or start the work on a phase one, we have that monies available. Then the next one is the Peroni Park Playground Project for the $400,000. The Ayer Affordable Housing Trust for the $60,000. The Ayer Library Digitization of Records will be for $25,000. And the Flanagan Pond accessibility feasibility study will be for $25,000. Again, those are the four warrants. I didn't know whether or not you all needed me to go through each single one of them verbatim, or like I say, I did send them to you.
Nah, it's good.
All right, then.
I reviewed them, but just had a couple questions. Have they been reviewed by town council yet, or does that happen after we submit them?
I'll say it this way, town council sent me these. I made some edits, okay, with some of the feedback. So town council already has reviewed them.
Okay, good to know. And then I just can't remember where we landed because we did discuss possibly increasing the administrative funds. And I can't remember if we decided that we weren't going to do it this year, but we were going to think about doing it in the future, or.
I had written down that we increased it to 10,000 from 5.
Okay, so we weren't going to go up to the 5% or anything. We were just gonna, okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. All right, thank you.
Okay, no problem. I mean, we do have the ability to go up to 5%, but I don't think we need that. I mean, if we see that a lot of the requests that are coming in, again, I'd rather put it into the due diligence instead of administration, because again, if we don't use these funds, I mean, as well, you know, I mean, I'm just saying this for the public access, that if we don't use these funds, it goes right back into the general fund. So it's not like this is locked
You have
up.
to be, general fund is a loaded term, so
I
it's
know
not
that,
the
okay.
general fund, it's the CPA undesignated fund.
Undesignated fund, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the article says / general fund, so I'll double check with that. Okay, the undesignated fund balance, so. All right, then if there's no other discussion. All right, I'm just gonna, I don't know, I mean, we still have public individuals. Are there anything from the public? All right, that's not being the case. So then let me go ahead and hear a motion to accept these warrant articles as written.
Make a motion that we accept the warrant articles as written.
Second.
All right, that was Barry and Colleen seconded. All in favor? I'm gonna say Jason, that's because you're hiding.
Yes.
Okay, Julie,
Yes.
Beth,
Yes.
Colleen,
Aye.
Barry,
Yes.
Jess,
Aye.
and the chair says aye. So we go ahead and pass these and have them be emailed back to the town. Now, I think the only thing I just want to remind everybody is we do have a meeting coming up next Wednesday. And we will be talking a little bit more about the 5-year air community preservation plan. So with that, we will be, again, getting some updates with regard to the focus groups that happened, as well as looking for a public forum. I think I sent you all the survey, and we'll be having that be put out. We have a hard copy there, and I need to drop off some hard copies to the library, and it will be placed on the website and such. And the public forum, I believe, is going to happen May 4th. So we'll be discussing that. Colleen?
Will we still be on Zoom next week for the CPC meeting, or will they be back in person?
I'm gonna go ahead and say, I think the consensus of the group is to still continue with Zoom. I know that Jen, our consultant, her fee structure is built on Zoom, so we'll still do that for April. Then I need to go ahead and talk with the IT, you know, with Cindy and team to find out what we can do in May. Right now, that May public forum is scheduled to be Zoom as well. So with that, I think we may get more participation than people coming into town hall. We'll find out a little bit about what happens with the, you know, the forum for the playground. So, but right now, plan on Zoom. Okay.
I probably won't be able to make it, Janet. I have a work conflict. So I'm disappointed because I know there'll be discussions about the planning initiative, but I'll see if I can make it after my other Zoom meeting lets me go. We'll see.
All right, that would be good. If not, I know Jess does pretty good notes, so with that. And also too, with it being Zoom, it will be, you know, videotaped too as well, so. All right, is there anything else that committee wants to bring up? I tell you again, thank you so much. I know that we've done We've done a lot, so I do appreciate everybody's help. All right, if there isn't, can I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting? I did close the other meeting, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, Barry makes the motion to adjourn.
Second.
I Beth seconded. All in favor? I'm just gonna say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
All right. Again, thank you very much, everybody.